saying that we were going to outsource all our employees' work, and that is not the case, guys. We want to make sure that you understand that. What we did speak about were any new employees.
I never heard that one.
It came in. Any new employees coming in was something that was spoken of. Freezing any new hires, freezing increases on employees, and freezing any purchases of equipment for the first quarter or the first half of the year until we saw what kind of revenues we were generating. So those are the issues that we dealt with for this last couple of weeks.
Since that's the topic right now, what is the feeling of the council on the increases, salary increases?
Other than, and I'm going to interject real quick just to give you a breakdown, each council member should have this sheet here. If you don't have it, Sherry can get that to you. Adding only police personnel, which was one officer, and not adding a human resource person, a wastewater department person, a street department person, or a part-time municipal court clerk would save $88,400. Adding only police department equipment and not the sludge truck, the roller, or the water utility truck would save $93,488.34. Given only the increase that the collective bargaining binds us to for police department, and nobody else would save $55,462. As we discussed at the last meeting, my thoughts as a city manager were that we should give the people that deserve an increase within the city. The council had already capped it at no more than 3%. And after speaking with Mrs. Castillo, I understand where she's coming from. She says that we can wait the first quarter and see where we are generating revenues, and then we can move on that. If not at the first quarter, at the mid-year budget review, those are the issues. I did inform her that this $6.4 million budget, which is 1.856% lower than last year, did include everything on that.
Did include 3%.
Everything from new employees to increases to equipment. Even the Time Warner is still in here, because after speaking with her and informing the council last time that we were still working on the resale of that, she said, well, we still may need that, or we know that we need to be technically capable of performing the jobs here at the convention center to provide that, event center, excuse me, and the police department is still in there. And also that's still in the budget is the fees for an election, because the council has not voted on if they're going to have an election or not have an election. So everything's in here at this point, and it's still at that, it's 1.8.
Last week that I didn't have the current figures that he had, and I was real concerned with the projections over sales tax. So I went to the state comptroller's office, and through July 31st, the first 10 months of the fiscal year, the city of Floresville received a little over $1.4 million in sales tax. Now, a portion of that went to the 4B, and a portion of that was the street maintenance tax. So the portion that the city received was $734,000. Doing some basic extrapolation, you could expect $884,000 at the end of the fiscal year. Now, August so far is being a pretty good month. But let's assume for a moment that we are going to meet that $977,000 goal. In the budget that was before today, it was $1.25 million that you were expecting in revenue. We've since downgraded that down to a $163,000 increase in the sales tax revenue that you're going to be receiving. Well, to generate that $163,000, that 1%, that's assuming that we're going to have a $16,300,000 increase in taxable sales in Floresville next year. That's a significant increase. That's a 16% increase. When I looked at the other revenues And mind you, this is based upon the budget dated July 31st and some basic extrapolations. Tax revenue compared to what was budgeted was actually up, or excuse me, down, if we discount the street maintenance tax, $443. Rental fees up $16,000. Fines down $30,000. License and permits up $103,000. Add it all up, we have a net increase of $131,000 in revenue under the administrative fund. But next year's budget is looking at a $500,000 increase over this year's budget. That's a big increase. If we went to the 1.25 million, it's 482% more than you increased this year. That's a pretty big increase. When we looked at the budgets, and I extrapolated the numbers out, and I discounted the street maintenance tax, bottom line, the city was about $23,000 above budget. And that included this extra $131,000. The city administration was $215,000 over budget. The police department, $16,000 over. If you extrapolate out the number.
Okay, if I can interject real quick now.
Please, would you just let me finish?
No, hold on, sir. If I can interject, the figures that you're throwing out, I understand people are listening to, but they are incorrect, once again.
Well,
hold on.
Would you please let me finish and I can justify my numbers?
Mayor.
It really is just a council workshop, Jim. We have to...
You asked for some public opinion. I said I had a few comments, I have 2 questions, and then I will stop. The numbers that I have are based upon your budget dated July 31st. I took the bottom line number, which was for 10 months.
And
you divide it by 10.
And we are working on a budget dated August 23rd. And you
the
have
numbers
that,
are not that.
You have that copy, sir.
I did not
August
have time
23rd.
to prepare for it based on that number.
Well, for you to interject and give
let me
false
qualify.
information is not good, sir. And
I
am not going to sit here and listen to you spew your information.
Okay, then let me back off of my numbers.
Okay, hold on.
What?
Let me interject now and offer
Would you let me finish my
correct
point?
information.
Would you let me finish my point?
Let's get back to the budget. Let's go back to the first page on our revenues.
Yeah, let's keep it down.
No, sir. I'm talking here.
I'm talking the way you address my wife. I don't appreciate that.
You know what?
I'm telling you. Yeah, what?
I'm telling you that I'm speaking. Every time I say something, something has to be said. Let me speak.
Well,
let me speak, all right?
I'm just saying you never apologize.
Apologize for what?
The way you spoke it.
Let's get back to the agenda, please.
Anyway, give me a 5% on, say, someone who pays $800 on a property tax.
$8.40 for 5%?
What is that?
$8.40, right?
For what?
You're raising it more than you're already raising it anyway. $2.30.
The question was, it was a question. It wasn't that I was going to raise it. It was a question if it balanced or what it didn't. It doesn't balance, so I'm not for that.
You have your own.
You're taking for the people, ain't you?
You know what? I'm not taking from the people.
I'm not taking from the people.
I'm creating increases for the people. It has to be, dude. I mean, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not gonna even go there. That's fine, Mark.
Okay. John, do you have a?
Yeah, I think we need to go. Yeah, we got to start somewhere. Councilman says we got to start somewhere.
I mean, if we don't start this, Councilwoman. When do we start? That's what I'm saying. At what point do we start? What do we start with? And if it's not multiple entities that we look at, then where do we start? With 1,
2,
2, 3? If it's 1, which one? You know, one that'll pay for the things that we need because we know that the water.
Pays for water.
If we go up on the water, that's not going to pay for the other, the fire department, the police department. And what was the third one? The water towers. Well, the water rates will pay for the water tower, but it won't pay for the other 2. So which is
There has to be a combination.
There has to be an effort made going forward. Otherwise, we're gonna wind up another 10 years, well, I'm exaggerating, right?
One more year.
Another
more
year
year,
we're
or
doing
2 more years.
nothing, so it becomes harder and harder. And I understand what Mario was saying, I mean,
Me too.
a lot of us senior citizens are on set incomes. I'm one of those, okay? And I'm not, you know, I know that the city needs to go up on some rates. And we'll give up, I mean, people will give up one thing to be able to meet those increases. Whether.
Fonda, let's look at some figures. Give us some combinations of water and property tax increases.
Okay. What exactly do you want to?
Look at the property tax first, that's 2%, Mayor. That's 1% or 2%? Do 1%?
3 cents, you mean?
Huh?
You mean 3 cents? Is that what you mean?
I'm sorry, not percentage, cents, yes.
Cents.
One penny or 2 pennies or 3 pennies.
3 pennies would generate what?
70,974.
And that almost covers all of this year and possibly next year for the police department.
Correct.
And we said that 2 cents would generate 40 what?
47,360.
47,000.
Yeah, somebody write it down, that's good.
You should have
They're
that
on your
spreadsheet.
hand.
Okay,
Oh,
sorry.
we do?
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
Okay.
Everywhere.
And then a water increase
John,
that
yours.
Councilman Gomez had said?
I'm sorry.
What was the number you said?
the water,
I don't know.
$2, you said?
$2?
um,
If we did a $2 increase on water, it would be $15.50, which would generate $57,216 per year.
That's water residential or
Yes.
water commercial?
Water residential and commercial, because it's the same rate.
Okay.
okay, so it's 57 combined, or is it for each one?
57,000. This is based on our current 2,384 customers that we have. So that would be an additional 57,216 per year. And that's
So
on $2.
those monies will be put into reserve.
Correct. Yes.
So they don't have to be reflected on here. What we're reflecting is on the operating budget.
Mhm.
If you raise the rates, that'll be, not this council meeting, you set your rates at your following council meeting and then take it from there.
And $2, raising it
No more
$2
raise taxes. No.
would be 57,000.
Because you know what? I keep telling you, it's different. It's completely different when you raise taxes.
Okay, so what revenues are you going to use for the police department and the fire department?
Right now, you have to look at other ways to.
Which other ways?
Let me,
Yeah.
okay, the sewer rates and the water rates. Those are the ones that, you know, if you go with a tax, you're saying people don't have money to pay a $2 increase. But you're willing to put an $8, $2, okay, an $8 expense on their city tax, on their homes. If they can't pay their water, then what makes you think they're going to pay their taxes? And when they don't pay their taxes, what's going to happen to their home?
Yeah, but the question is,
I'm just telling you what's going to happen to their home.
Okay.
No
Okay.
one's going to pay for their home. I'd rather them turn off their water than take their home.
I know, but the question is, what revenues are we going to use, since we can't use the water rates to pay for police and fire department?
All
What
of
are-
that comes out, I'm sorry, ma'am. I
That
didn't
comes
mean to
out of our
interrupt.
general
That
fund.
comes out of our general fund. What's in our general fund?
Okay.
Ad valorem tax.
Right, sales tax.
City sales
Yes.
tax, the franchise taxes, electric, gas, phone, and then our tower rentals, municipal court fines, license and permits,
The money's there.
pavilion rentals, and then what we've created, of course, as a additional revenue was leasing the office space within here in this area.
So our general fund can cover.
For this year, for this new budget.
For this new budget. Now, next year, that'll be another